What's going on, everybody? My name is Joltage, and today I'm going to be bringing you my series versus Madoka for the LC Tour 2015 playoffs. This was quarterfinals, and yeah. For those of you who don't know, LC Tour is basically like Smogon Tour, where you play like during like over a period of weeks. There are live tours in ORAS, DPP, and BW, and and depending on how well you do in those tours, you get points, and then top 8 make playoffs. And I was able to sneak by with the 8 seed in the LC tour. So I have to play the number 1 seed in Madoka. Now, Madoka is a very skilled and highly touted player of LC. One of the arguably one of the best of the current generation. She's basically won like everything not named LC Open this past year, and is the starting LCer in SPL for the Ruiners, I believe. So it's a tall order here to have to face her round 1, and definitely with a challenge. This is the ORAS game. It was I had going into this game, I was a little bit iffy on which team I would bring. I really am not comfortable with a lot of my teams in a tour setting, and so it was a little bit iffy on what I wanted to choose, but I ended up going with this team. I actually had RMT'd this team earlier that day. It's called Day at the Beach, and actually that RMT has made Team Showcase by now, so if you want to check that out, you should. I'll link that in the description. Anyway, looking at team preview, we've got a kind of cool looking spike stack team. Goldine's not something you see very often, but I mean, it definitely can be annoying. It has a niche in being able to fucking counter Chincho pretty well, provided it doesn't get skull burns, and it's able to do some work against my Magnemite as well. With Lightning Rod, it just is immune to electric moves, which is annoying. Another scary thing I see is the fact that she has both a Carvana and a Poniard, both of whom are very much checked on my team by Krogunk, but she also has a Gothita, who just kind of removes Krogunk whenever she feels like. So that's really scary. I have to play really safe with Krogunk. Anyway, I decide to lead with Sandile, as she leads Trubbish. Now here, this would be a speed tie that I'd be comfortable with going. I assume she would want to either get her spikes or get out of there. Sandile does have the type advantage on Trubbish, though they often are in Drain Punch. Like Earthquake can fucking hurt a lot, so I feel like she'd want to get out there, but I also want to prevent spikes if she stays in and I win the speed tie, so I go for the taunt here, as she just switches out into her Pumpkaboo. The fact that Pumpkaboo is taunted here is real nice, because now half of its moveset's out of commission. So I have a couple options I can do here. I can either go to Krogunk over here, who will resist the Bullet Seed, not really take much damage from Shadow Sneak. I can go out to Natu, who will also resist the Bullet Seed. Shadow Sneak's probably not going to hurt that much, even though it is super effective. Or I can go out to Snivy, who also is going to resist the Bullet Seed. Snivy kind of can punch holes in her team, as it has HP Fire. So I end up going with that play as I switch out to Snivy here. And Snivy takes this Bullet Seed. It's a nice and 5-hit Bullet Seed, which is going to bring me to around half, just over half actually. And I'm going to go for the sub. I don't really expect her to stay in here, so I sub. As she goes out to Trubbish, my Berry Juice pops, so I'm back at full behind a sub. We're looking okay. She goes for a Spike here, as I decide to go for a Glare. I went for the Glare one because T-Wave and Glare. Some of the best moves in the game. Para chances. Absurd. Para can just win you games sometimes. And two, my Snivy doesn't naturally outspeed Trubbish, or even speed tie with it. I'm running a pretty slow Snivy at only 15 speed. So I wanted to at least be able to outspeed it. And this turn I'm going to go for the Leaf Storm. With that damage I can tell that the next Leaf Storm is going to kill, and she gets parried here. Now this was pretty large in the grand scheme of things, because had she not parried, she breaks my sub more than likely, provided she hits the gunk shot, I guess. And then yeah, I kill next turn, but I'm not behind a sub. But this way I'm going to be behind a sub and full health and +4 when I kill this thing, so this was kind of massive. This is kind of unfortunate for her. Anyway, Snivy kills Trubbish, and she goes out to Poniard. Poniard outspeeds my Snivy, like I said, and he breaks my sub with Iron Head, as I just decided to kill it with HP Fire. And then she goes out to Gothita and Psychics me. Snivy lives with 35% left, and I Leaf Storm and that dies. Gothita dying was really cool because now Krogunk just allows me to never lose versus Carvana. Really useful. But yeah, see, so that Glare was really really useful for me. It allowed Snivy to get at least 1 extra kill, arguably 2 extra kills. I'm not really sure how that would have played out had I not parried the Trubbish there. I mean, had Trubbish not gotten fully parried there, but Snivy's got 3 kills, and I'm in a really strong position at this point. With that, she goes out to Carvana, and I thought about clicking sub, but I ended up not clicking sub because sub was my better play here, so I probably should have clicked it. She didn't need to protect actually there because, like I said, my Snivy's only 15 speed, so unless she's running some really odd Carvana, that would have outsped anyway. But she clicks protect. I click Leaf Storm. Like I said, should have clicked sub. It was the better play. And I've decided Snivy's done all the work I need it to do this game, so I just let it go down to the crunch. And Carvana is sitting at +2, but I'm not scared of Carvana. I have a Krogunk. And I decide I'm going to go for the safe Vacuum Wave. Don't want to get Zen headbutted on a over-predicted. She goes out to Pumpkaboo. Now I expect the Wisp here, and I don't want my Krogunk taking a Wisp. I mean, having Krogunk burned is not good. 1 for residual, and 2 for my knockoff not being as strong later. So I decided to switch out into my Natu here, expecting the Wisp, hoping to bounce it back, as I do bounce it back, but I miss. If I wouldn't have missed, I would have felt really comfortable there. Pumpkaboo Super would have been burned, so that's residual, plus Natu's not taking any damage from anything it has once it's burned, so that would have been cool. And I decide, but it was unfortunate, but it is what it is. So I decided to go for a Heat Wave as she switches out to Goldeen, and I missed that too. Not that that's doing a whole lot of damage, but I mean, I just missed. Here a U-turn, I guess winning a speed tie, and going to Shelter to take this knockoff. Shelter does really well, actually. So, and I could have smashed here, but I decided it better just to get off the damage with the Rock Blast. But I miss Rock Blast, and just decided I'm going to Rock Blast again. And then I flinch. So, Shelter goes down without damaging the Goldeen at all. That was a rough 5 or so turns for me, but and actually now I'm in kind of an annoying position. Goldeen's really annoying for my team. Snivy's gone. Magnemite can't hit it with its stab. So I just kind of have to like wear it down at this point. I go out into Krogunk to get the knockoff. As she goes for knockoff herself, rather than a drill run. This turn though, she could definitely go for drill run, so I didn't want to stay in there. Excuse me, I'm really sorry about that. So I end up switching up to Sandile. I decide Sandile's not really super useful for the rest of the game. If she goes into Pumpkin Boost Super, I decide my best play is to taunt. I don't want this thing wisping anything or synthesizing up on stuff. And yeah, but like I said, I decided Sandile wasn't really super useful anymore, so I get up these late game rocks for no reason. And then Sandile wins a speed tie and takes out Goldeen, which is great. Like I said, Goldeen was really, really annoying for my team to deal with, and that being gone just opens the door. Just makes it a lot easier. And at this point, I basically got the game wrapped up. She decides not to protect the Carvana, but I mean, like I said, the Krogunk was the Krogunk allowed me to just never lose to Carvana. As long as I don't switch it into Carvana. I never switch in my Krogunks to Carvana out of fear of Zen Headbutt. I just let them revenge. But Sandile takes out Carvana as well, so Sandile picks up 2 kills, and really cool. And here my best play is Taunt, so I can't like wisp, stall, and synthesis up on stuff. She just goes for the Bullet Seed. Good, I mean, but I basically just have this game in the bag. Go out to Krogunk here, can't get wisped, and I can knock it off for stuff. And yeah, this is basically game. Krogunk's just going to take that Bullet Seed and then take another Bullet Seed and end the game next turn. So that was the ORAS win. Pretty huge win for me. I wasn't like unconfident in my ORAS game there, but like, I don't know, Madoka is a really strong ORAS player. Next up, we decided to move into DPP. DPP LC is super fun. It is offensive as all hell, and it's just really fun. That's our pretty much every DPP meta game. All the ones I've played, at least, I've really, really enjoyed. But anyway, I like lead Floon here, and so I decided to go with lead Floon. As well, so does she. Interestingly, it's looking mirror matchup. We both go for the Shadow Ball first turn. She gets the Spadef drop. I get the Spadef drop. It's really mirror matchy right now. And then here, all right, there, it was either we Sucker Punch for the speed tie, or we Shadow Ball for the speed tie. Actually, no, it was like a game of sucker punches. But my thought was, I'm gonna go out to Munchlax and bait and avoid whatever she goes for this turn, and then bait the explosion and switch back out into Drifloon. Apparently, she had the exact same idea as we both go out to our Munchlaxes. We don't have the same team, by the way, but these first couple turns are absolutely hilarious. The fact that it like mirror moving each other. And we're mirroring each other like so much. But here I decided to just go for the return. She goes out into her Drifloon. Now this is a 50-50, I think. She can either explode and take out my Munchlax, or she can like predict me to predict that and go for the Shadow Ball, as she does do that, as I'm afraid of the explosion too much, so I just go out to my Drifloon, and she predicts that well and kills my Drifloon off with a Shadow Ball. I go out to my Gligar. My Gligar's Scarf, but she doesn't really know that. So I just U-turn to kill that, in case you wanted to preserve that for whatever reason. I decided to go out to Bronzor. Bronzor was probably not the best play, as she gets to bring in her Magnemite. Magnemite is going to beat my Bronzor 1v1. Got Magnet Pull, so I can't switch out, and then it's also got Magnet Rise, so I can't even touch it with the move better than Psychic. I have Earthquake, but you know, so this is unfortunate. And she actually pairs me first T-Bolt she gets. I think that was actually pretty large that she was able to do that, and I get parried there. I think it was pretty huge that she was able to do that, because I don't know, I feel like I would have been able to I don't know if I would have been able to, but I feel like it would have came out better in the long run. So now she's behind a sub, which is really annoying, and she's got a magnet rise. So if I went out to my Scarf Glider, I could break the sub, yeah, but then she would be able to just magnet rise and just sit there, and I didn't want to deal with that, so I just went out to Ponyta, and all she has to do is sub down, really, waiting for me to miss a Fire Blast. And Ponyta is well trained for first 3 turns, and then alright, and Ponyta keeps hitting his Fire Blast because he's a well trained pony, and then on the last one that he needed to hit, he misses, which is really annoying. So Magnemite just takes out 2 members of my team. It's really irritating. But now I can go out to Gligar and just click Aqua Tail to finish. I didn't want to click Earthquake in case she wanted to switch out for a Gligar, which I assume every DPP team has. And she goes out to Mankey. Mankey is often scarfed, and I don't think she thinks I'm scarfed at this point. So, I expect her to just go for the safe Ice Punch, and that's why I switch in Munchlax here. But she goes for the U-turn. That does a decent amount. She goes out to her own Ghastly. I don't really have another way to deal with Ghastly right now. So I just Pursuit, and it booms on my Munchlax. My Munchlax goes down. Now here, she's either going to go out to... Alright, she has 3 Pokemon left. I don't know what it lasts, but I'm assuming it's a Gligar because I assume every DPP LC team has a Gligar. And if I go out to my Gligar, and she brings out her Gligar, I'd have to lock myself into Aqua Tail, and Aqua Tail doesn't 2-hit KO Gligar. I mean, no, it 2-hit KOs Gligar. It doesn't OHKO Gligar. But I feel like hers would beat mine 1v1. So I decided to go out to Mag, hoping I can either boom on her non-Scarf Gligar or her Munchlax. But she ends up going out to Mankey. Really unfortunate. And I have to switch out for Gligar to take the CC. Surprised she went for that, actually. And I expect her to switch out because she's locked into CC, so I U-turn there, but she doesn't, and that pretty much is just the end of the game. I have to sack my Magnemite there, and then I get so I just have no shot anymore. I have to Earthquake. I get to Earthquake the Mankey, and then Munchlax takes one, and provided I don't crit, which I don't, Munchlax takes and then kills me off with an Ice Punch. Ice Punch is different, actually. But yeah, so I lost that. And I just kind of got outplayed there. Yeah, she won the 50-50s. She needed to, and yeah. But so it all comes down to the final game, which BW. BW is the meta I have by far the least experience with. I only started playing after a little bit after X and Y were released. So I've basically no experience with the BW meta, and my only team that I have for that I threw together 5 minutes before one of the tours, and just stuck with it because it performed alright. So I'm not super confident heading into this game, but I mean, we're at this point now. I gotta try. Team preview. She's brought Stall, which is not something you see a whole lot of in LC, and BW you'll see it more because knockoff is far less prevalent because it wasn't as strong last gen. And this is my team for BW. You got Scraggy, who I legit think is broken in BW, but I mean, I don't know. I haven't played that much of it, and I think I identify Scraggy as something that could potentially win. I have Zen Headbutt, so that Tentacool can't stand up to me, and Mienfoo is hit super effectively, though HJK does more. So I identify that as my win con. I also see Mischievous doing quite well. I've got a sub Wisp Mischievous. Um, so I mean, I think I'm all right in matchup wise. But we gotta see. I expect her to lead Fu because I mean, who doesn't lead Fu? And so I lead Mischievous. Oh shit, I'm on really slow. My bad. But she ends up leading Slowpoke, as I decide to avoid the potential T-Wave and sub. And I go for the Wisp. I miss. That's the second time I've quote-unquote missed a Will-O-Wisp against her this series. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So I decide to Wisp again, actually, as she goes out into her Hippopotas, I guess that's called. Yeah, Hippopotas. Yeah, anyway. And I go out to my Archon to get up my rocks, I believe. Yeah, I get up my rocks here. She goes out to Slowpoke. I decide to go out to my Chincho, expecting maybe a T-Wave, and it also resists Scald. So I switch into Scald. I actually don't get burned. Hallelujah. So that's cool. And I double out into Fungus, expecting her Ferrous Seed, I guess, because I have HP Fire on my Fungus. So she's got a Slowpoke. I'm going to go for the Spore. She protects, scouting that out, installing some sand damage. I'm just gonna go for the Spore again as she switches in Tentacool. So Tentacool's asleep for now, which is useful, I guess. She doubles out into Ferrous Seed, and I just decide to as I switch to Drillbur, I decide to switch back out because I know I'm not really dealing with Ferrous Seed that well. I'm Scarf Drillbur into my own Fungus. Fungus is going to take the Bullet Seed the best on my team. And then I'm going to go for the... I'm going to play some prediction games and go for the Giga Drain. Expecting her to switch out. And then I'm going to HP Fire, do over half, which is cool as she sets up a spike. She was a Lord, I guess, with that. And I go for the Giga Drain again, expecting maybe her to switch out. Then I think I click Giga Drain again. Yeah, I click Giga Drain again there. It doesn't do anything at all to fucking this little leap. As I go out to Drillbur, don't really know what this little leap's gonna go for, actually. She goes for the Giga Drain and fucking drops my ass. I don't know what I was expecting to go for there, but it is what it is. And I go out to Scraggy, and I Dragon Dance. Unfortunately, for me, because like on paper, it looks like I can sweep right now. I have Zen Headbutt to take out Fu. HJK is gonna kill this. It's gonna kill Ferrous Seed. Crunch will kill Slowpoke. Zen Headbutt will kill Tentacool, and yeah, it's just looking really good. Unfortunately, I hadn't calced before doing this, and it turns out Fu lives any hit from me at +1. So I killed the little leap with the HJK. I'm Shed Skin because fuck status. But I have to switch out here because I don't beat Fu at this range. Into Mischievous, I avoid the Drain Punch, and I decide to. I think I just Shadow Ball here as she goes out into, because I want this Mienfoo damaged. If I get the Mienfoo chunked, I can potentially win with Scraggy. My Scraggy's 15 speed, so it outspeeds the standard Mienfoo, which was actually 14 feet speed slow Fu in this very defensive LC metagame. The most defensive gen for LC. I substitute here with Missy to maybe fearing a T-Wave. I'm always afraid of T-Wave when I verse a Slowpoke. And then I just decide to Shadow Ball. And as I body the Slowpoke. Slowpoke's at 8%. I mean, it can switch out and come back in. I decide to go out to Fungus here. as she protects. I don't really know why I went out to Fungus. I think it's because if I went out to Archon, other things would have been lured in. I Giga Drain. She has Liquid Ooze, obviously. I mean, it doesn't really need Clear Body, especially not this gen. Especially not in BW. I mean, she doubles out from her Tentacool on my switch into Chinchou. And I'm actually Life Orb Agility Chinchou, which is hilarious because this is literally the worst gen to use it in. But I decide I just need to chunk it, and I do hit this Hydro Pump, which completely chunks this Foo. And at this point, I think I can win. Don't really know why I went out to Archon, actually. I don't think I realized that I just kind of outsped Foo and won at that point was the thing. But I take out Slowpoke as she goes out to Ferroseed. I just decide I'm sacking Archon and just clicking Earthquake. Archon takes the 3-hit Bullet Seed as she switches out to Foo. She's getting that regen up. I'm just gonna keep clicking Earthquake here. Because I want this Foo as low as absolutely possible. And I didn't want to Roost because then it's super effective and it gets a shit ton of HP. So at this point, I'm thinking I can win with Scraggy here. I outspeed this Foo and I click Zen Headbutt and it kills. Ferroseed's low enough to where I don't even have to risk a inaccurate HJK. I can just click Crunch. And yeah, it looks. And I'm gonna take the series with this game. Scraggy's gonna clean up, takes out Ferroseed with Crunch, and rather than risk the miss with Zen Headbutt here, I'm just gonna click Crunch. Safest play. Knocks it down to 1 HP, but Sand's going to take it out. And yeah, I end up beating Madoka, moving on to the next round of the playoffs, and securing a spot in the LC Invitational, which is coming up. LC Invitational is a tour where there were basically just a bunch of tours throughout the year that you had to do well in to get invited to this massive, to this like good players tour, basically. It's invite only tour come the end, and I with this one, the last tour I could qualify for invitational for, I did with this win, so that's really cool. I'm looking forward to that. I'll hopefully be bringing you my LC invitational content, and yeah, it should be cool. Anyway, my opponent in the next round of this tour is going to be King Midas. King Midas is a pretty solid player as well. And yeah, I'll bring you those games either live or replays, probably replays. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe for more competitive LC content. You're not really going to get that anywhere else on YouTube, IMO. I'm going to be bringing you the every LC SPL game, by the way, either live or if I miss it live, I'll get you a replay. So yeah, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.